Durag Diaries, yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see in the title of the video, we are doing a manager tier list. Yes, I know it's international break, and in light of all the different tier lists are going around, whether it's content creators, whether it's Spurs, whether it's managers, whether it's players, we thought that we might jump in with the fun and do a manager tier list, ranking all the managers under ENIC. And to do that, I had to get a big panel. As much as I do think I know football, I ain't ignorant to the fact that I'm not the best. I'm not the man of all the knowledge, that we have to get other people's opinions to, you know, get a nice, fair view of all the managers under ENIC and how it's planned out over the time. So to join me today, first but very not least, a familiar face, one that you guys would have seen many a time by now. Man like E, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. Hey, I'll be real though. I don't know why you thought, let me get some people who know ball and you invited me, but nevertheless, I'm still happy to be here and get some free promo. Make sure you're subbing to Jords, man. Sub to everyone on the panel, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Make sure you're showing love to everyone on the panel. Their names and their channels are in the description of the video. Very easy to find, but we'll let everyone do their shout outs for themselves as well to you know, plug them in and find out how you can find them. But making their debut on the show, I know I've mentioned it a few times, been trying to make it happen, but this is the perfect video to get it done for the first one. Man like El Tel Cockerell himself. Jose, how you doing, bro?
I'm going to have to correct you straight away, my son. My name's Jose. Jose's Portuguese. I'm Spanish. It's Jose. But Jose. No, Jules, no, all good. Yeah, we've been threatening for a while. We are now here, and I am looking forward to doing the show with all the guys that you've got at the moment on screen, and the people you're going to have in chat, and those that are still to come.
Yes, there is a few still to come, people. Don't worry about that. You're going to see some new faces jumping in throughout the show. And again, another debutant on the show, a guy you guys definitely would have seen. We've done a few shows together, but more importantly, he does appear on some of the bigger channels. Maybe seen him on Football Heritage TV, maybe seen him on Tottenham on Tour, and many of these other shows. The Hotspur Hood himself, Dan, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Same Spurs, different day. Apart from that, I hope everyone else is good.
So I think it's fair to say that the international break it's a nice time for all of us. I think we can all say it's been a very nice time. You know, a few weeks away from Spurs, away from football, no stress.
It's relaxing. It's relaxing. The less Spurs games you see at the moment, it's relaxing.
I think international breaks have been relaxing. And I say they've been relaxing and taxing for the last few years because we seem to go into them on a defeat. But this one's quite a long one because obviously we're not involved in the FA Cup. So this break becomes a really long one, longer than usual for an international break because we're not playing this weekend, are we? We're not playing until
still got another 7 days. It's Thursday.
We don't play till the end of next week. So therefore, it's a long one. It's a long one.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely been a long one. And I'll be honest, I'm not complaining. This might be the first time I'm not complaining about the break of football because Spurs football hasn't been great. It's not been the scintillating thing or the scintillating stuff we saw at the back. Well, the start of last season, not the back end, because the back end was very poor. We haven't been good for a long time. But guys, let me just mention this before we go into anything of the video. Everyone's channels is in the description. Show some love. If you want to subscribe to them, you can find their channels down below, as well as make sure you're smashing a like on the video. It doesn't take a second. It doesn't cost a thing. Smash a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to become a member, you can go to the pinned comment in the video and you can become a member, become a Durag delinquent or a Durag descendant. Let's see what levels you really want to take it up to. But good, big up to Spotlight on Spurs, Luke. We are going to be heading over to Luke after this at 9:30. So big up to Luke. He's making his first show and his first appearance on YouTube officially. So we're looking forward to that. Big up to Luke. And we have another guest joining us. If it isn't the man himself, man like JayRatedR. How are you doing?
Salut. I am well. How is everybody?
Big chillin'.
Not bad, not bad. All right, Jay. Nice to see you.
I'm good. It's good to see you, bro. It's been a second. It's been a second.
Long time no see.
Yes, it has been a while. It has been a while. But look, guys, I'm going to open up the tier list. We are going to get open. We're going to get started to get everyone's thoughts on, I suppose. I think you guys let me know. What do you think we do it best? Should we just go through from the start? We start with George Graham and we work our way through the years and I suppose get on to, I would say better things, but it doesn't necessarily build up with Spurs. It's up and down. It's just like up, down, up, down. So let me share it, and then we'll get started. But as people can see, we got a few tiers. I just kept it very simple. Didn't want to name tiers. I don't really know. I was gonna remove this top tier. I was gonna lie because I don't know if anyone is an S tier manager. I don't think we have any S rank managers if we're judging by their time at Spurs. But we have to leave it there for argument's sake and see if anyone wants to put it. And then obviously A rank, B rank, C rank, and D rank. I think it's fair to say the D rank shouldn't be blue. It should be the other way around. But this is how we've ended up. Starting off, George. Well, before we actually start off with that, is there anyone that just I think we can unanimously agree has to go D rank? Is there anyone that everyone just thinks? Straight down to the bottom.
The man we got now. I don't D rank. I don't even think that's good enough, mate. You should put a Z on there. And Ange don't even make the Z.
No, I think we've had worse managers than I've seen worse managers than Ange.
We'll see.
When?
I guess we'll see. I mean, 1 5th place finish, and this season isn't finished yet. So I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we're gonna run through some names who were far worse, far quicker. Than what
really?
The person I definitely have on D, and I've got not much to say about him at all, is Jacques Santini.
Okay,
does he even count?
I don't remember Santini well enough to put him as a D.
He was
and what I mean by that is kind of like he wasn't bad enough because I know I would have remembered if he was bad enough for me to classify him as a D.
You're too young to remember him, Jay.
No. It's because he wasn't here that long.
Because he was awful.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But I mean, like, I don't remember him being.
He weren't a manager. He was just there for the moment, sort of thing. Just while they were doing.
Yeah, it's like
he weren't even a manager.
Yeah.
But look, if you want to go on about
George Graham
being a D.
I suppose let's start from Graham. Let's build it up with
George Graham only got 6 weeks, didn't he? So he didn't.
I want to. You know what? I want to leave Ange till later because he's our most recent manager. So we're gonna have recent feelings. But I want to take it back and start on the older managers first, and then we're gonna get round to Ange. Just say, I think I should change that picture. He shouldn't be clapping his hands. There's nothing to clap about Ange. But we'll start with this man here. I believe it's George Graham. What are our thoughts on him? I'll start off with you, Jose. He was managed Arsenal.
He was only with us for 6 weeks. If you're looking under ENIC's tenure, he was only with us for 6 weeks, if that, 4 to 6 weeks, and then he was gone. They brought in and they got rid of George Graham. It's one of the first acts they did. So he didn't get much time to do absolutely anything whatsoever. ENIC had already made the mind up when they were coming in. He's gone. We're taking him out. So for me, George Graham, you're not assessing George Graham and what he did on the previous 2 years. You're only assessing while ENIC were here. So while ENIC were here, he only had 4 weeks and he did nothing. Well, he was a dead man walking as soon as ENIC signed the papers.
No, 100%. I mean,
sorry, just before you carry on, just because we got another face coming in, the guy's finally ready. Man like Spurs Kings TV himself, Marlon making another
late to his channel and late to everyone else's, man. What are you saying?
Why is Elijah and Jay here, man? What are they doing
here? Hey, at least we're on time, bro. What's going on, Marlon? What's going on, man?
I saw Jay already rapping. I was watching it on YouTube. So don't give me on time. But Daddy, Jersey, hello. Sorry, Jules. Sorry. Run over.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem at all, man. It's not a problem. It's just good to have you here, finally making your debut. But Dan, you were going to go in a bit more on George Graham. Please continue. Let us know your thoughts.
Well, George Graham, he's I mean, what was it he had? It says here 108 games, 40 wins. Yeah, not the best, not the worst. But he did only last about a month to 6 weeks when ENIC took over, wasn't it? And you're basically saying this is from when Levy's been here.
It's under ENIC, but I suppose for George, we'll probably do his.
Did you not have the semi-final, Sol Campbell's last game, in between when ENIC took over? The one where we lost 2-1 at the Old Trafford. Did you not have that under ENIC?
Was that?
I think for George, just because he's the manager that was in the phase between them before ENIC, it's fair to judge him.
Yeah, Gary Doherty game. Yeah,
wow! For playing that Gary Doherty up front alone in that game, he might have to go into D. Like, sorry, go on. See, and my memory is good enough to remember the very, very bad results around like in that time period. I don't remember like lots. But I remember, like,
so Jay, your memory's good enough to remember the bad results, but the minute I mention and it's like, oh no, hang on a minute, you sort of just go, what's the matter, mate? Do you go a bit fuzzy on the head or something? Because your brain sort of goes
to rationalize arguments is rationalizing arguments. Like, that's what we had to do.
I get it. Remember the negative on everything, just not on Ange.
Say anything, bro.
It's good I get it, man. It's cool. I get it.
I mean, what's Ange got to do with George Graham though? Like,
I'm just saying. No, you were just like when I mentioned Ange should go on the D and that. No, it ain't over. It ain't this. It ain't that. All positive. As soon as then there's you saying I remember all the negatives. Well, hang on a minute. Make your mind up.
I'll take a pause just to deal with this. When is the last time we spoke about Ange? Just to be clear, when is the last time you and me spoke about Ange?
It's got to be. I think that was probably on Alan's channel when you was giving me a lecture on how good he was and what he's going to do with the players that he's getting.
Okay. So that would be, I don't know, like nearly a year, right?
No, it's not that long.
Okay, say 9 months, 10 months. Yeah?
Yeah, 8 months, 7 months.
Okay, cool. So you want to have a go at me for an opinion that I expressed 10 months ago, yeah?
I didn't have a go.
When the team wasn't actually that bad. The team was about 5th in the Premier League. That's what we've done, yeah? And then after that, you've heard no thoughts about what my opinion is on Ange, what I think about the setup, what I think.
I mentioned Ange, you got defensive, and then you just said you remember all the bad sides.
What? Like, you're making it sound like I shut you down for no reason. 10 months ago, we had a conversation about Ange as a manager, and I was positive on him. You were negative on him. Like,
I was right.
Potentially, maybe you were right, but we're here to discuss Tottenham managers and tiers, not getting a dick out measuring contest to discuss who got what take right. So, let's get back to
when it comes to that one, man. Then we should have. Then you should have agreed with what I said.
I think let's bring it. We're gonna go on Ange later. We are generally gonna go on Ange later. We're gonna discuss about all of him, but I want to get round to that. We want to just.
Then we can all swing later.
Every manager's gonna end up with an Ange conversation.
So we're gonna end up doing a whole Ange in, Ange out when we don't even get to talk about Spurs. I do want to live some good things today. There is a few managers that we can say was some happy times.
We've had
some good managers.
It's easy hosting, Jords, isn't it? It's easy hosting.
Jords, it's two Ds. There's only 2 Ds.
Pause. God,
Whoa. But George Graham, look, if we're judging the fact that he won a League Cup at Spurs, I know his win percentage wasn't amazing. He always finished in the bottom half of the table. He was like a mid-table side under him. Do you think because he won the trophy, he can't go in a D category and we've probably got to put him as a C?
You can't put him in D. You can't put him in D.
You can't put him in C either. You got to put him in B.
Oh,
you got that trophy win. He won a trophy. He won a trophy.
Yeah,
so
there's only a couple on this list that have won trophies. That's a good point. There's a good point.
So
and his defensive record was quite decent.
Just so I know, Ramos is going to be a B because he won a trophy.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, listen, I'm not co-signing that.
I would say
Joker Batman level logic. Like
let me just ask a question then. Let me just ask one quick question for everyone, just so I can level this out right, So we're saying put him on there B because he won a trophy, but some obviously ain't digging it. But then what's someone going to say if Ange wins the Europa? Are they still going to say, no, he shouldn't be on a B or an A because he won the cup and he should still be on an F because he's had a terrible league? Or are people going to preach him because he's won a cup? Does a cup mean anything on this? Or are we going by games won, games lost? Explain.
We're going by everything, I suppose. We're just judging it overall. I think we just want to make sure that we've got a good gauge. Obviously, if a manager, I don't want to skip far too ahead and start talking about other managers.
George Graham didn't win a cup under ENIC because when you look at the ENIC banner, we've won one trophy. So really, if we're judging this under ENIC, then George Graham's trophy should not come into.
Jose's right. Are we judging George Graham's tenure under ENIC or at Spurs? There's a difference.
Yeah, I think. I suppose to maintain consistency, we'll do it under ENIC because we just want to maintain the consistency. And with that,
in that case, he's a D. He's only for 4 weeks.
I'm not against that. You know, he managed Arsenal. I don't really want any Arsenal legends anywhere near the top of our club. So if he's a D category, I'm fine with it. And I think if everyone else
I'll go C, mainly because a lot of the time when you analyze stuff like this, I probably look at the team that we had as well, and I don't think he got them. It wasn't like he elevated the quality of the team. Maybe the team could have finished a couple of places higher, but it wasn't like the team was way lower than it should be. You know, it was a collection of pretty average players. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like they should have been way higher or anything like that. It was a fairly average manager at the time, managing a fairly average group of players. And we finished in a fairly average place. So
he finished where he was supposed to, basically.
More or less. So I'll give him a C. I think a C is fair.
I'd give him a C, yeah. But if we're judging under ENIC, it's hard to judge for 4 weeks. But if we're not, then he probably does deserve a C. But it's dependent on what the criteria is. And George, you're the
title of the show says Tottenham manager tier list, best manager under ENIC.
Yeah, but hold on. But those two things don't necessarily, like, it depends where the full stop is, because that doesn't necessarily, that's Tottenham manager tier list. Stop.
We're just gonna do it under ENIC, Jay, just to maintain the consistency, and I don't want there to be confusion, and I don't want it to be like, because I know how this will go. If we do it the other way, and it's George Graham won a trophy, but he's gonna be a C, so that's all. I'm just gonna say we're doing it under ENIC. George Graham, we're gonna throw him in at the D, simply because, as you said, under ENIC, he just didn't get enough time. He was there for about 4 weeks before departing.
Yeah. He was done and dusted.
What this is gonna expose, this is gonna expose how people perceive, watching their team and fandom. Because
exactly, and that's what I want
to me. Because to me, it's like, this is where you're gonna basically say, if by the same way that one judges ENIC and Levy in terms of like success, then some of you guys are gonna have to just put everybody in C or below. Like, we might as well lock off A and B. Yeah, that's not how I see football and not how I speak about it. But in theory, some of the people who are so critical of ENIC and Levy in terms of us not winning, these managers right now, should anybody be in A or B by your logic? Everybody's C and below. If it's that's what we're doing the list, Jay, to find out how people view football. I'm looking for the consistency in people's approach. Let's find out.
That's what we're looking to find out, and that's what we're looking to find out. And moving on, I suppose, on to the next manager in the tier list, David Pleat, as was mentioned by Jose. He wanted to clear up. I did actually look at the date. So he managed Spurs for a month between, or I should say, a month between Graham and Hoddle. But then after Hoddle left, he did then have quite a lengthy spell for a whole season between September and June. So the 2003 to 2004 season, David Pleat took the team. I suppose whoever wants to go first, does anyone want to speak about his time at Spurs, how successful or unsuccessful it was? And obviously he was only brought in to fill in and then took another role at the team. But what do people think of his time?
Basically, he carried us for what he had to at the time. He never really got a time as a full manager, did he? He's sort of like, he carried us, basically. So, I mean, do we even put him down as a proper out-and-out manager? I mean, he's managed at Spurs, 3 times as a step-in, hasn't he? Basically, like a stepping stone.
Yeah, but I suppose he did have a lot.
How many games did he get under ENIC? Yeah, how many games did he actually get?
The third season was a whole season. The other 2 times that he put in a stint,
he
done 2 months and 1 month. But this time round, for the third stint, and that's why he's classified as a manager, because when you look at the ENIC and they say 16 managers, Pleat is one of them 16. He's classified because he did an entire season with us.
Yeah, September to June, he's done the full season.
Yeah, he did the full season, so he's classed as a manager.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I agree with I do agree with what Dan says. He was a club man. He served Tottenham in many different shapes and guises in different roles. And when they couldn't get their act together and they couldn't find a manager for whatever reason, he stepped into the breach and he did a whole season. Around that time, for my opinion, it is about fans. It is about fans' perceptions of this. And for me, if I look at ENIC when they came in, and I look at the first loads of managers up until for the first 3 or 4 years, our team was awful. So not much. There's not our team, like Jay said earlier, we had mediocre players, and we had an awful side for the first 3 to 4 years under ENIC. And it's just unfortunate that Pleat's come in, managed the side for a season, but he didn't have all great players in the squad. We had mediocre players, so it was quite difficult and quite challenging.
Yeah, I know. With that season in mind, just to give people the stats for that season, we had a record of 13, 6, and 19. Very, it's very similar to what Ange is looking at finishing on this year. I know people have said 19 losses is the worst or the most amount of defeats we've had in a year. So David Pleat was the one that set that record under this tenure. I suppose our home record wasn't as bad as it was this season because we managed to get majority of our wins at home that year. But again, we just wasn't that good all round. We lost a lot of games. We finished 14th, and it really wasn't a good season. So I think it's fair to say, although he was a club man, do we think that he probably goes in the D rank tier list? Because he just never had a good time as a Spurs manager, and it's not memorable for anyone.
I think with him, with some people, it had just come to the way he's been a loyal servant at Spurs, and the way they treated him in the end was disgusting. He has served the club well, but manager-wise, I wouldn't say he's a D. Well, yeah, I'd put him as a D. We should have a rank lower than a D, really. But yeah, he didn't really perform anything, but he's been loyal to us.
Are we ranking loyal? Does loyalty get you another tier up? I don't know. E, how do you feel about
that? No, I couldn't really care less. He's loyal or not. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I was barely alive for any of these managers.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't remember stuff like
I'm also waiting until the later stages before, so I'm kind of just reserving. I'm conserving my energy.
So that Jose, it's us because we remember these days.
I'm also waiting for the final boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Goku when he turns Super Saiyan. Like let everyone else fight first.
Yeah, you do have to rank these managers in the sense of how they did. But how they resonate with the fans, how they, the football they play, there's more to it.
Yes, definitely.
And I think forget the loyalty bit for a second. He took over the shit show twice under ENIC and did the job that he could do. And then the way he was treated at the end because of the when he did become director of football and they said, no, we're going down this route. You kind of have to put him in the C ranking and go, yeah, he might have been what Ange is doing this year. But he was doing it with a very average team, very, very average. And Pleat, you have to take somebody history that he's been at Spurs and he's Spurs through and through. So I would leave him in the C.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Well. All right, we'll go with that. I think that sounds good. Marlon put across a very good argument, so there's no arguments there for me. Then on to the next manager. I think it was already said by yourself, Jose, that he's the one that we'll throw in straight at the D. Jacques Santini. You obviously was him, yeah, you said Jackson.
Oh, you're missing Glenn Hoddle. He was the next manager after Pleat.
Oh, of course,
Yeah,
that's
don't
it.
forget
You know what it
Glenn.
is? It's the order I put them in. It's the order I put them in over here. There we go. That mess up. Glenn Hoddle. That's it. Spurs legend himself. When you talk about Mr. Spurs, you can't do that without mentioning Glenn Hoddle. I again, this is a manager I was too young for his time, but one of the things that has been apparent whenever people spoke about him, they always say, footballing wise, tactically wise, he was ahead of his game. He was doing things that people are doing now in the last 10 years, and he sort of took the role of modernizing football at an earlier stage. So what do you guys think of him? Obviously, judging it with regards to results, but also the football side of things and what he done of bringing players to Spurs, because
he got us to a cup final, didn't he? Against who was it? Was it Blackburn? No, Blackburn. He got us to it. I'm sure it was Blackburn League Cup,
it was,
and we lost in the final. Yeah,
he did.
At least he got us to a final. So surely he's got to gain at least a C for that, if not upwards. I mean, because we're so poor at Spurs and win nothing, getting to a final means something.
You know what's really weird? You know what? He did change because we were playing really defensive football under Graham, and obviously when we changed from Pleat to Glenn Hoddle, he did change the mindset of the football. But I remember Glenn Hoddle times. I didn't enjoy them as much as everybody else. I thought they were terrible, and I was expecting a lot more of him.
We weren't that good in the Hoddle. Like, I thought we would be better. Yeah, I agree. I thought we would be better.
And the only thing I remember Glenn Hoddle for was the 5-1 against Chelsea in the semi-final, and that's all I remember him for.
I just remember Ziga being terrible. Like, and I just thought he was going to be good. Like, but he was just always average.
How I saw Glenn Hoddle, he flattered to deceive as a manager, and a lot of people will be sitting there going, "Nah, he changed his. He did change the philosophy how we played on the pitch." I remember that much. We started playing it short. We were moving. But I just don't remember his time being that great. I don't remember thinking, "Oh, I'm going to enjoy Spurs and watch it." I don't remember it fondly. But and that's me personally. But a lot of people do.
Do we think that was due to the team he had? Because obviously, I know he brought Sheringham back. He brought in Gus Poyet, and he had a few decent players. But there was
because under him we went for the older generation. We went for the over 30s at the time, and I think that was probably what it was, that
he wanted experience.
Yeah,
he wanted experience to try and level it out, because we would level it out. But he got us to a cup final, which is more than most managers do.
Yeah, he did get us to a cup final, which I've got to give him credit for. But
so for me, that's a C.
I support the team. I support the team regardless. But like I said, for the first 3 to 4 years under ENIC, we had terrible teams. We had mediocre teams. So he got a mediocre team to a final. Because it was mediocre. You wait till the other managers that come in. There's a few other managers still we got to talk about under the mediocre times.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of managers to talk about over me. So are we going to a C? We're going to put him in with David Pleat. About that level.
For the fact,
we're going to say mainly again because these guys are club men. We're giving them a little bit of a push because, you know, Spurs through and through. Even to this day, when you hear Glenn Hoddle, he does have the pain in his chest when he's commenting on us. When he's doing the commentary, it's always like,
no,
Spurs,
that's just the recovery.
Hey, you're nodding. You're not with it.
That's nothing to do with Spurs. Just the recovery. It
might be the age, man.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying he needs to be in a D?
No, I was just saying the pain in his chest. That's do you know what I mean? That's in sorry.
You're saying that's to do with his age? Oh, it's harsh.
Yeah. I mean, you can hear he gets depressed when he starts watching Spurs and that, because he just starts slamming the tactics all the time, doesn't he?
He does. He definitely does. Every time for Ange in particular, which is understandable. I suppose it is definitely understandable, especially right now. But I suppose after Glenn, it was David Pleat come in. But then after that, we then got the man as I skipped ahead to last time, but we're back here. Jacques Santini.
No, you skip. We had Chris Hughton for a season as well after Hoddle.
Yeah, Chris Hughton.
You got Christian Gross there, but Christian Gross was 1997, 98.
No, we ain't had either of. They were all too old, to be fair. I put them there, but I was supposed to remove them. Christian Gross, Chris Hughton, they're all before ENIC.
No, Chris Hughton was manager 22nd of September 2003 to the 30th of June 2004. Chris Hughton was our manager for 1 season.
Time. Oh, this man. Do you know what? The website I had it up has got it wrong. It had David.
Chris Hughton was our manager for 1 year.
No, it says David Pleat, a long-standing Spurs servant, returned to Tottenham, caretaker role for the third time after Hoddle's success, overseeing the West of 2003-2004.
So it was Pleat, right?
Pleat came in on the 22nd of September 2003 till the 30th of June 2004, and then it was Santini the season after that.
Yeah, not Hughton. It wasn't Hughton, right? It's Gross.
Yeah, Chris Hughton. No, Chris Hughton came in. Chris Hughton was our manager for 1 season, 2003-2004.
No, that's the David Pleat season.
That's David Pleat.
That's David Pleat. Yeah, he was.
I don't know. Maybe if they worked alongside each other. I've just got down here.
That's David Pleat.
Yeah.
So what are joint managers then? Because the website says that it's got the same.
No.
All right.
I'm just checking up now on others as well. Chris Hughton's not even getting mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was just looking at on the other ones as well, just to make sure. Because
Hughton gets mentioned before.
Forgive me, guys. You know, some of us are very young.
So we're on the Santini.
Show your age, Jords.
Definitely show my age. Martin Yole. I'm waiting till we get to Martin Yole. That's when I can start speaking and commenting. But right now, I'm just in the background because
Santini just goes in the D list anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not talking about his D.
You lot thought. I tell you not now. You lot thought Mourinho was bad. Santini was 10 times worse. We literally didn't attack and we just defended. We literally just didn't get battered, but we literally defended. It was horrible football.
How comes he left? Because when I've looked up, all that I can see is that he resigned for personal reasons. So obviously, I know his record was like 5 wins. Oh, it was one of those ones. He just resigned.
He was going to get booted. He was going to get booted before.
Jay, didn't you say something along the lines of you wasn't that mad at Jacques Santini? You thought you weren't that bad?
I don't remember it. Yeah, I remember because after was it y'all after Santini?
Yeah.
So it was like I don't remember it being terrible. I don't remember it being good. I was just kind of neutral at the time about it. So that kind of to me means he wasn't really there long enough for me to really have an opinion. It feels a bit harsh putting him in purely in D. But then
just stick him in D.
Nah, he's D.
He was awful.
I think he does. When you look at the record and you look at everything, he's one.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, as in, people are like, he was awful. He wasn't awful. Like, as in, like, apart from your nostalgic not liking him, the results don't back that he was really awful. They just back he was okay. Like
5 wins in 13 games does sound pretty awful.
Marlon, what was he like?
He was hard. I tell you, like I remember. I think I remember a game.
How many Jords was that, Jords?
Let me check. I just got the 5 losses. I ain't got the 5 wins. Sorry, I didn't check the draws and defeats. I just know that it says 5 wins.
Because they weren't high scoring. A lot of the games where we used to play, they weren't high scoring. We literally just put 10 men behind the ball under Santini, and it was whether we. I can't remember who was up front at the time. It's just whether they scored or not.
Was it Canute?
Was he around that time?
Yeah, we had Canute come through in 03, 04 maybe. He was there. I remember he was there for a very short time before leaving. Before we had when Martin Yole come in.
Yeah,
I think he's got to go in D. I think it's fair that he goes in D. You can't really give him.
It was bad.
It was bad.
When you watched him
play,
it was bad.
It was awful. Yeah, I don't even remember the wins. That's how bad it is. That the wins didn't feel like wins. That's how bad it was.
You see, I do remember.
And that's not us. That's not us.
It was not good.
That's not us overreacting. It was literally whenever we won games, they didn't feel like we'd won them. It was that bad.
It was bad.
That's why he was going to get the boot.
There is another manager that was very similar to him, especially when you look at the times and everything. But we're gonna get around to that because that's many years in the future from where we're at. But now look, it's 05 or 04, I should say specifically. November of 2004. At that, we get the Dutchman. Martin Yole comes in. He signs some good players. We start to play some good football. Now I don't know about you guys, but obviously this is my first time getting into Spurs at Martin Yole, and I always felt like there was something happening with him. He was always on the build. He was on the come up. And actually felt like for once our team started to go places. Obviously, first season you had the famous, or second season, sorry, the famous lasagna gate didn't end up well, but it was a lot better than where we had been for the past 10 years. What, I suppose, starting with you, Marlon, what was your memories of Martin Jol, and how do you judge his time at Spurs?
He basically had a rapport with the fans, and I think that helped. He had a rapport with the media, he had a rapport with the fans, and he elevated Spurs to the next level. So we went from being a mid-table team under Jol to being a European being able to compete in Europe, getting into those European places, finishing 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it was just a fun time to support Spurs. We weren't great. We were evolving as a club. It was probably the first time under ENIC you went, actually, they're putting their money in their pocket. They're doing everything they can to move this club forward. This was the first time we had seen it under their tenureship. For me, Martin Jol changed the whole game, and if it wasn't for him, ENIC probably would have died a death years before. He literally calmed everything down, and the players he got through. Yeah, go on, Dan.
He got us into 5th place twice, which we hadn't even seen in the Premier League sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he turned the way he turned
was good.
Yeah, Edgar Davids, Michael Carrick, and Michael Brown in that midfield. It was stiff, it was brilliant, but going forward, it was still good. And having Robbie Keane up there, I think Defoe came through at the time as well. Yeah. It was. And Aaron Lennon started. Yeah, Aaron Lennon was on the right. It was literally.
Because that was when we just robbed West Ham, wasn't it? That was when we just robbed West Ham. We got relegated down, wasn't it? Yeah,
yeah, and we just used every bit.
But I mean, for me, I'll say he's a B. I mean, he's the first manager at Tottenham since the Premier League started that actually got us that bit higher as such, that got us noticed, really, not just noticed for being poor.
And our expectation wasn't that high at the time, so he could actually go ahead and do the job that
we were shocked to do.
Yeah, we were shocked.
We were shocked. I mean, the fact that just it was down to the last day of the season that we was fighting for a Champions League place was shocking.
Yeah.
The one last year.
It was a time when we finally, like I said, started to gain some respect from our rivals. He signed some big players. I mean, for me, the one player that literally made me fall in love with Spurs and with football, Dimitar Berbatov, signed under his tenure. He was a guy that sort of built through. You even had Bale. Bale was signed under Jol. You had Genus. You had some of the other bigger names. I mean, there was a few failures in the likes of Kevin Prince Boateng. I don't know about you guys, but he was supposed to be the next big thing at the time, as well as Adel Taarabt. We had a few of those types of players, but it seemed like we went from a team that just had older, more basic footballers to a team that's now going to sign some technical players that are actually going to bring some pizzazz, some culture to Spurs. But do we think that although he'd done all of that and had, that change for Tottenham at the time, is it good enough to put him anywhere above a B rank? Because it seemed like he was always the manager before the next manager. Like, he took you to a good level, but you always needed someone else to really push you on.
Yeah, but he took us to a good level for 2 years and then give us the worst start we had ever had, basically. And that was why he got the sack.
But it comes out, for me, it's a kind of repeat and recycle, because he'd been there for so many years and he probably needed a freshen up of the squad. And ENIC do what ENIC do, and they won't do it as quick as the manager needs it done. So he kind of suffered in that last season. And when he did get sacked,
that was because it was the worst start to a domestic campaign in 19 years. That was why he got the sack.
Yeah. And when he did get the sack, it was kind of like he was starting to turn the results around, but it was too late. ENIC had already made up their mind.
They sacked him at half time, didn't they?
Yeah, against Alves. Their manager, funny enough, at the time.
It was because wasn't that the year where we brought in Darren Bent, and it was quite a hefty fee when we brought him in. It wasn't a cheap price. We brought him in for something like 18 million, which at that time
15
was fairly a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he didn't step up to the plate.
We still had the 4 strikers, didn't we, at the time as well? Then we still had Berbatov as well. So he literally was trying to find his best 11. But the problem is, when you've got the likes of Robbie Keane still there, Berbatov still there, Jermaine Defoe, and Darren Bent, it's hard that you're going to fit all three of them in when you're playing 4-4-2, and all of them, like there was games there. Robbie Keane was upset, but Berbatov was obviously the best out of the four. And it was a difficult time. He was given all these four great strikers and go play them all, and it was never going to work.
Yeah. So Jay, just bringing you in here. Martin Yol, you think he's a B rank? Because I'm sure you're a man that I know Jay. You like some good football. Do you think Martin Yol?
I really did like what he did. Like when he started the sum of its parts football, just like little clever tweaks. Like I for some reason I vividly remember Timu Tainu playing left mid in certain games. Just like little things like that. Like, and I remember just thinking, that's smart, you know, and it worked. And the team was just very refreshing. It was like a refreshing team. Like, as in, like we were starting to do things. I think that kind of whet the appetite of what we could be. Like at the time, what we started to be like, okay, maybe the transfers were starting to get a little bit better. The players were starting to be a little bit more on point. Do you know what I mean? They were taking slightly less time to bed in. I think the problem with the tiers here is that like a B to me is somewhat fair, but it'd be more like a B minus, C plus, like because you essentially still have Redknapp and Poch to go. Yeah. So it's like if nobody's an A, or if you think someone's at whatever.
You're thinking too far ahead. Let's just focus.
I'm trying to be fair because if I don't think this far ahead, when we get to this point, it's going to look a mess. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
that's the whole point of doing a tier list. You get to that point when you get to that point, and then you're like, oh, exactly. How do we rank it now?
Stop ruining the fun, man, Jay. I tell you what, the best thing that Martin Yol did, and whoever remembers, does anybody remember our last game at Highbury? If anyone remembers that, we took Arsenal off the park. Michael Carrick literally ran the show.
Yeah.
The fact it finished 1-1 was daylight robbery. Yeah, daylight robbery. Literally daylight. It was Wenger and Yol bust up. That for me was probably one of the one games where you went, we're starting to slowly also catch Arsenal at the time. He brought us that close. Robbie Keane tap in.
The Robbie Keane saga hurt Yol a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
That hurt. That I'm not thinking back. I'm like, he lost Carrick, he lost Keane, and those were two quite big body blows.
No, Keane was lost to Ramos. Ramos lost Keane.
Yeah.
Was it
Ramos lost Keane? Yeah, he lost Berbatov and Keane in that one summer.
Oh shit! Okay, so you had Keane the whole time.
Yeah, Keane the whole time.
So he just lost Carrick then.
Carrick was the big miss because he replaced him with Didier Zakora, and it was just.
Got it.
We all know it was never the same.
Yeah.
And Edgar Davids' legs are gone. They're completely gone by that point.
I mean, with Carrick, we'd lost one of the most underrated players the Premiership has ever seen.
Yeah. Michael Carrick carried that team. Carried them.
No, but
until Modric
goes in a B.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, look, we'll go at B rank because when you look at the C rank managers, I think, like you said, Jay, he's probably more of a B minus, you know, just barely making it in there, but he's definitely better than the ones below him. I think he put us into a good place, brought us some good players, and it's one of those ones you've got to respect what he done for us. You got to respect where he brought us, and you know everything that made us get to this point. And then, look, we mentioned it earlier, the man that is the one trophy winner under ENIC somehow got the job done. Juande Ramos. What are people's thoughts of him? Because I'll be honest, I'll throw in my brief thoughts on him. I thought the football was horrible. It wasn't enjoyable. I don't think that I know obviously there was times we'd score a lot of goals, but defensively we always seemed to be a bit of a mess. He did make some decent signings, so I don't actually think it was ever a case of the team wasn't good enough, because obviously he brought in Modric, David Bentley coming under him, who was, we all know how underwhelming he was eventually. Pavlyuchenko, he was one of the star signings, I think, when you look at what he was for us across the years. I think he was a decent or a very good player. And then Choluka, I suppose, was pretty good at the time. What are everyone else's thoughts on him? I think the cup run was an amazing one, but league form was dreadful.
We've done Arsenal, we've done Chelsea in the cup. He's got to go an A. He won a cup. We are that poor at Spurs. He's got to go an A for what he's won. He actually won.
This is so funny, Dan. This is funny because in your incredible way to show that you're not a hypocrite, you are genuinely suggesting that Juande Ramos should go in A. Like you are.
Marlon will back me up on here. Marlon will back me up. Marlon, what did I say on your show the other day?
Yeah, you did.
What did I say?
Look, the thing I say about Ramos is I think everyone doesn't remembers the bit after the cup final. And the reason why I say that, up until that cup final, the football we played wasn't bad under Ramos. He had Berbatov and Keane shining. We were winning games. We were excited. And then as soon as we won that League Cup final, we dropped off a cliff. And then
went down.
He lost Berbatov and Keane that summer and replaced him with Pavlyuchenko and Fraser Campbell, was it? Yeah. And Woodgate had come in the January, and we literally fell off the cliff. And the football after that was when it became really bad. And I think that's the bit that everyone remembers. But actually, the bit in between when he came in and he got to that cup final, his football actually wasn't that bad. It's a bit like how Jose started. And I think for me, it's one of those. I think the club let Ramos down more than anything.
But we have to take into consideration, Dan, because when I know you're focusing on the trophy win, but factually, when you talk about of all of these managers in this list, he has the third lowest win percentage at 38.9, which meant he weren't even winning 50% of his games. We were losing so much. I remember even that season when we won the trophy, didn't we finish 13th that season?
Yeah, but look, we all see football different. Yeah. When I can turn around and say to you and put on my CV, like, I finished 5th and then I finished 6th and then I finished 7th and then I finished 5th, or the other man comes in and can slam down, I have silver, he's done his job. Same as Marlon will back me up on what I said in his channel. I want Ange out quicker than anything, but if he goes and wins that Europa, he deserves more time next season. He'll have done his job. And Marlon could back me on this one. So no flip-flop in there, Jay, not at all.
Hey, we need him in S tier, man. We need him in S tier.
He's one of the only. He's the only manager we've had in how long that has actually won us something. Whether you like his football or don't like his football, he actually got the job done.
Yeah, but this is when you demean everything down to winning and losing, which you're entitled to do.
What is football about then?
Nah, but this is to you. Like if that's what football's about, then 90 whatever football clubs in the football league are a failure every season. And I don't necessarily think you can say that.
PB 1981.
So it's more from the point of view of saying,
right, why do people play sports, Jay? Why do people do sports? Why do you do the Olympics?
Some people to have fun, some people to exercise, some people to
why do professionals do it?
Do you know what, Dan? You know what? I'll be real though. I don't like this narrative that because you won, you have to go in an A rank. Because yes, he won the trophy.
You've done your job.
He done half of his job because he won the trophy, but the other half, which is the league, he was absolutely horrible.
George, what you're missing on is the fact that there's one trophy. There's one across the whole panel of managers that we have.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't make him better than the managers after him. I don't think
that's
means he's done a better job. That means he done a better job.
I don't necessarily. He's been arguably more successful. Yeah, by winning that trophy.
There's no argument. He's been 100% more successful.
And furthermore, I think it's fair to say that he wouldn't win that trophy without the foundations that Martin
exactly.
It doesn't. You can say that about anything and anything. You can say that about people who've stepped into clubs. Like you can say that about Arteta wouldn't have won that FA Cup if he wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have without Emery putting the
But at the end of the day, they still had to be there to do it. And he's the only one who's done it. No matter how many people, what it comes down to at the end of the day, like it or lump it, people do sport to win. Professionals play sports to win.
He also barely lasted 12 months.
People do UFC to knock the other fella out and get the belt. People do the running.
A lot of them don't do it to get the belt. A lot of them are just prize fighters. They just want to fight for the most amount of money.
They all go for the championship. What I'm saying is they fight to win. Everybody fights sport is about winning, and that is what it is at the end of the day. Yeah, we can all have our fun on it, but the idea at the end is to win. But then again, I think that maybe just some people have been overwhelmed by this Ange thing and have been a bit entertained, haven't they?
So you know what?
And always finds a way to bring it back to Ange. You see it?
On a serious,
it's entertainment, isn't it?
On a serious note, though, when you look at Ramos's record for Spurs, where he had 43 matches, I believe, yeah. So he won 18, drew 13, lost 12. Most of those losses happened in that second season where he got the sack. Most of those losses.
He went Real Madrid, wasn't it?
I tell you, S tier. That's what I'm saying.
He went Real Madrid after, didn't he?
So when you look at it like that,
he did.
Only that second season that brings him down. Did he only lose like one game at Real Madrid, but he got battered by Barcelona or something?
No, he lost eight games.
Did he lose 8? Yeah, I remember him getting battered by Barcelona. But when you look at what his record for Spurs, in that from October to I think he won 18 and he drew 11 because I know he only drew 2 the season after.
So Ramos needs an estimate Sergio, man.
Let me ask a quick question then, yeah? This is where I'll ask a quick question to everybody then, yeah? And anybody who's chatting on the side. What do you want Spurs to do? I mean, you can't always have the best of both worlds.
I'm going to put a poll in the chat.
Do you want a trophy? Do you want Spurs to win something, or do you want to see entertaining football?
I'll tell you this. The reason why we're giving him an A is because he won a trophy under ENIC. That's
exactly.
And you've got to give him credit for that.
But Dan, why? Like currently, you know, Ange got to a semi of a cup and is still.
But he won nothing.
Yeah, but you want him. But hold on, but you desperately want him out, and you desperately want him out.
But if you listen to what I've said in other things, if he stays long enough and if he wins the Europa, I've said keep him another 6 months.
Absolutely, but my
point is
not? But you want him out based on his league performance, not his cup performance.
No. I want him out on his overall performance and that, and his football. So you want him out because. Look, do you really want this, Jay? Do you really want to start this argument about Ange?
We're not doing that here. We're not going to do that here, guys.
No, hold on. We're 30. We're 14th in the league. Yeah. So obviously we've made a cup semi-final. We're still in the League Cup. You're obviously very vocal about wanting Ange out. So that to me must predominantly be from the league form. Because our cup performance is
from his form overall, but he hasn't done anything in the cup. He hasn't won a cup, but we made a cup semi-final. So he won nothing. It's irrelevant.
He should leave because he lost a semi-final to the league champions.
He should leave because he's had 27 defeats in 57 games. See, again, ratio of 1.17. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. 15 defeats from 15.
All right, look, guys. I got the perfect analogy, Jords. I want to reel it in. I just want to reel it in. We do have a section to talk about Ange, and you guys can go back and forth about Ange.
We got a super chat
against Ange. Oh, we do have a super chat.
When you want to talk about Ange, all the rest of us are going to go, mate. Just leave it down and Jay to it.
We do have a super chat in the building. Big up to DB1981. That is the bro. Let's get the super chats popping for DRD. Support this G. Not even a Spurs fan, but this guy's worth supporting. Now, big up to you, bro. Every single time. If you guys want to show some love, you could do what DB1981 done. But look, I did run a poll. And shamelessly.
Thank you, chat.
And I know this was Ian like 5 of his other accounts. I know.
Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, you stay mad, bro. He's an S tier, bro. He's S tier. Hey, I'm telling you, if you chat, the chat has got one of them. That's an S.
The chat has got. They're going up S rank. They've got Juande Ramos as an S rank manager.
Bro, I'm gonna compared to these man. Hey, if you try to talk to 16 gal and you only get one, you can't be out here talking about the rest of them are better. I'm not hearing it.
I am a man of the people. As there seemed to be some trouble in the camp.
Just like Jay-Z.
Yeah, there was a bit of trouble in the camp, so we had to, get an outside opinion from the chat, and the chat had done an S rank, and Dan's going to be very happy with this, I suppose, because, maintaining standards and all. He is happy with this. The rest of the panel seems to be a bit confused, but look, we do have to move it on just because we're running upon time constraints. We have about 35 minutes before me and Marlon have to head out and do another show. So I just want to make sure we are steadily progressing through all the managers at a good pace. But going on to the next one, I think it's fair to say there is no one that didn't like Uncle Harry. Does anyone want? I want to go to Jose first because he didn't really get too much to say in this Ramos section. But Harry, was that some of the best memories as a Spurs fan and for you?
For me, there's 3 managers during this tenure of ENIC that got me jumping and got my juices flowing, so to speak. Martin Jol was the first one because I thought that Martin Jol, the football that we played, and like Jason, the slight tweaks he did and stuff like that, I started seeing us playing football. So when I said that ENIC, we were in the doldrums with poor players and that for the first 3 or 4 years, Jol was the first person to actually go, "Ooh," you stand up and pay attention. The second of those managers was Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp. We had some decent players under Harry Redknapp. We did have some decent players, and he put but he had Modric there as well. He put together a team. He put together a team, and he played a 4-4-2, and we went out and we played football, and we looked a really good side to watch as well. We there was a period when under Harry Redknapp, that I never thought we'd lose. I thought every game that we were going out to play, we were going to go out and win. I never feared a loss, so to speak.
Yeah.
And there's only one other manager after Harry Redknapp that I felt that with. But yeah, for me, Harry Redknapp, did a really good job at Tottenham. And he got us. He qualified us. He qualified us for first time ever for the Champions League.
Yeah. And he rescued us.
Just why, to be honest,
that's why we got him, wasn't it? We was down relegation battle, and he rescued us, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, that was when we were down there when he took over Juande Ramos.
2 points after 8 games when he came in. That's right.
Hey, big up to Big Six Pants for the raid every time. That's the boys want. BSB with the raid. Make sure you're dropping that in the chat if you've come over from BSB. Big up to you guys. That's a funny one. That is funny.
Shout Estelle, fam.
But I want everyone to go through, name their best memory under Harry, because I think it's fair to say Harry Redknapp definitely brought us some good memories. Me, I'm gonna start it off. Rafael van der Vaart, deadline day. That was amazing. I can't lie. Signing a player from Real Madrid at that time, and for what he did that came to be, that was one of my favorite times as Spurs. I was like, yay, hey, we're going places. Well, what about you guys?
For me, it's the goal that the Crouchy goal that got us into the Champions League. The 1-0 away win against Man City.
Yeah, that was huge.
I'll always remember that. I'm
stuck between 3. Emirates, first one at Emirates. Yunus Kabul
3-2.
3-2 game,
yeah. Yunus Kabul free kick, header. West Ham 4-3.
Berbatov.
Wow.
Was that the one?
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't. Was it Berbatov?
Was that? Oh, that was Yo, wasn't it? That was Yo.
That was Yo. I know what game you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Free kick. Love that.
And then AC Milan away.
2-0.
He gave me that memory. Forget Bal Inter. That game, they peppered us. They literally peppered us. How he got us through that game, and then just Lennon and Crouchy. That was just top. And then had us in the title race until January, until Nelson and Vinny turned up. But no, yeah, AC Milan is the one. I know everyone will talk about Inter and Gareth Bale, but AC Milan 1-0 home, that can't beat that.
Do we think that Harry was probably, I'm not going to say the only manager, but one of the main managers that suffered under ENIC not giving him what he wants? Because we all remember that when he did eventually get the sack at the end of that season in 2012. Then was it 2012? Oh, yeah, it was the end of the season. 2012.
A lot of managers haven't been supported. Most of them haven't.
Yeah, would we say that
he found Gareth Bale? He found Gareth Bale. He was the one who found Gareth Bale for what he really was.
He got lucky.
And that is what I
got lucky
really rate him for.
He got lucky for Bale because
he didn't. He blatantly sat there and said, "You ain't no left back."
I tell you now. He was about to sell Gareth Bale, to Nottingham Forest with Chris Gunter in January.
It was coming up.
Yeah, Asuakoto got injured and was going off to the African nations, and they said, you're going to have to keep Bale. I can't remember what happened in the game, but Bale just seemed to turn it around all of a sudden, and that was the making of Bale. It had enough. Redknapp gave up on him. It was just luck.
Redknapp was the one who made him and put him up as the left winger.
Do we not remember that season when Redknapp was third in the league? We was clear. We could have even pushed on for a title race if we're being honest. In that last case, and then
court case in England job. Those are the two things that came up after that.
And then what happened in that January transfer window? Ryan Nelson.
That was part of the issue, and that's the things. And this is why I said that was the only time where ENIC didn't really back Redknapp. But up until that point, they backed him on every single occasion because he wanted Zaha. No, he wanted Suarez, and I can't remember. And Cahill.
He wanted Suarez.
However, what happened was that Harry Redknapp was going through the court case, and the England job came up, and Harry Redknapp flirted with that England job for the whole time, and that pissed off ENIC and everything. And that was the only reason why he got sacked, because they backed him up in court because he had the I forgot what he was doing, but he was doing the stuff overseas, and then he was talking about he was flirting with England, and our results dropped like a cliff until Capello was named. I think it was Capello that was named.
Yeah.
Then we had Bolton, I think, the week after, and it all turned.
Yeah, it was because it was.
It was definitely because of England. Like, he took his eye off the ball. I remember
his eye completely off the ball.
Furious at the time. Yeah. Like, I was so mad because he was flirting with England, and it's just like we should have walked third. We should have walked third, and that's the only time. I know people will always talk about that last transfer window, but we had enough. Like, no matter what.
He did not ask for Louis Saha. He did not ask.
No, it doesn't matter. We had enough to not go on that.
So do you think that because we had enough that year, he's definitely not an A rank, and that he'd probably match up similar to Martin Yole? Then
he was very similar to Martin Yole. He was very similar.
I think it's fair to say he definitely had a better team than Martin Yole.
But he literally had Modric. He did have Bale in the end, and
Modric's going down.
And his football was good to watch as well.
Football was good to watch. He was excited. I'd probably put him in A if I'm being honest.
I was leaning on an A rank. I was leaning.
A-. I used to love to. You knew when you were turning up to White Hart Lane under Redknapp, it was going to be all hell. We knew we felt like we were winners. Not like how we were under Poch, but that's when we started to turn the corner and go, yeah, this could be the man. But it never was. It was never going to work out. Harry's Harry, isn't he? But I'll take Harry back in a heartbeat. Again, another one that resonated with the fans.
Do you know what?
Love Harry.
Harry in A tier.
Yeah, he's the only reason why I watched I'm a Celebrity. I never watched it until Harry was in it.
I think it's fair to say, I was seeing the shout. Harry still gets shouts to take over Spurs at this point. People are saying, get rid of and bring Harry until the rest of the season.
He's bringing the Ange convos back, man. You see what I'm saying? He knows what he's doing, bro.
They want to bring Harry. They want to bring him out of not just retirement. They want to get him out of the old people's home and put him in a job.
Exactly.
Billy's actually put a good point in the chat. He's gone, what did actually Redknapp do after Tottenham? He did nothing.
He went QPR, didn't he? He was at QPR for a few years and just managed.
Did he win the FA Cup at Portsmouth?
That was before us. That was before us. And that's sort of what got him the job. It was the same year we won the Carling Cup. They won the FA Cup, and that's what it was weird. But when they playing like European football in the qualifiers as a championship team.
No,
when I was a little youth, Portsmouth had
that was Wigan.
That
was Wigan. Oh no, it wasn't Portsmouth.
Yeah,
I think they got relegated.
Timelines are all over the place.
Right, they definitely are. Andre Villas-Boas now
doesn't get enough credit.
That's one thing I would say. He doesn't get enough credit. When you talk about the revelation of what Bale eventually become, what he made our team get the ball to Bale, and he's going to make it something. And I think that season and those years that we had with AVB and the work that he done with Bale, it was.
I think his points wasn't his points tally only beaten twice by one manager, which was Poch. No one else has beat his points tally over a season.
That's right. He was the first one who got us to 72 points.
72 points, wasn't it? And only Poch done it with 80 and 75, I believe.
That's right.
Could be making that up or something like that.
No, you're right. Up until
no one else has beat it.
He got us the highest amount of points in the English Premier League.
And we finished 5th that year. That year that he finished 5th, I don't think people realise how great the Premier League was that season.
The Premier League was so good that year. And just to give some people context, he lost 16 games in his whole Spurs career out of 80. Ange just lost 16 this season. I don't want to speak about Ange. I just want to say that point. I just want to say
that instigator, bro.
Hey, Jay, they're trying to trigger you, boy. I'm backing you, Jay. I'm backing you.
But no, I want to go to Jay. Andre Villas-Boas, because I know Jay, again, you're a man that likes football, man. I'm sure you enjoyed the time under AVB.
I thought AVB was good. I thought it was like, I felt like that was the first time we really were trying to take like Europe more seriously. Like, it felt like there was a bit of a shift there. Like we really started to try. I think he got done a bit dirty transfer wise. I feel like he got done dirty way more than Redknapp did in terms of transfers. And he never gets. They never talk about the Moutinho thing. And I think Moutinho would have materially changed the team. That was a big loss.
And he also won another. He wanted, was it Benito?
So he trying to get at the back, or something like
that. See, some of the other stuff, I don't really, it happens. But the Moutinho one, with how it went, and with it like deadline and all that sort of stuff, it's just, I feel like that's one of those where you could feel his teams needed something like that when Bale went, because we used to get just where it was very difficult for him to lose such a key player.
Tom Carroll playing in the middle at a lot of points, bro.
Yeah, but I feel like the thing is that he started the kind of like, if you're good enough, you should play kind of mentality that Poch kind of went with a little bit more. Sherwood, to be fair to him, helped. But yeah, I think Villas-Boas is probably a B. I think that was when it first started to be really disappointing finishing behind Arsenal. Up until that point, it had been like, we're challenging, they're a little bit better, they've always been kind of better. But now it was starting getting to the point where it's like, nah, you know what, we really should.
Would you say that was the point of when, because at that point, it's fair to say that they weren't the good Arsenal teams in 2011, 2012. They were poor teams that were over-exceeding because Wenger was such a good coach. We tend to have better teams or matching level of teams than them.
Yeah, I was starting to think we were better. Like, you know what I mean? Like the points results weren't showing we were better. They kept finishing above us by 1 point and stuff. Or two. I was starting to feel maybe we're better than them. But yeah, ABB was pretty good. I think the football, like the end was horrible.
Yeah,
the
actual day he got sacked was the 5-0 loss.
Nah, I remember that the Negredo goal, where he back heels it against Dawson and sends him for all. Like it's like imprinted in my brain. And like when Suarez just destroyed us.
The Suarez goal, the lob, that just like, I remember replayed in my head so many times when I was thinking about AVB. I was like, I just can't stop thinking about that lob. That chip was just beautiful, and it's just like, this is the end. That was the game. It was like the week before Christmas as well, weren't it? So it was like going into the Christmas break. It was a memorable one. So what are we saying rank? We were saying B rank. He was
massively let down by ENIC. That 7 that was a 7-heaven transfer window with Lamela, Eriksson, and everyone. And he got told they have to gel straight away, and they just never bought well.
He got a very short time, to be fair. He only had about 15 months in total. So obviously he had the full season, then he only lasted until December of the next year. Didn't really get that time to make those players gel.
Think about it like this: if it was Martin Fulop, I know, rest in peace, but West Brom last day of the season, throwing him in for Arsenal. If it wasn't for that day, we would have been in the Champions League. Totally different story.
I think he was dealt a bad hand before he came to Tottenham at Chelsea. He was taken to Chelsea to do a number and get rid of the old guard and stuff like that. And I felt that when he came to Tottenham, I felt there was a bit of the same. They wanted him to do a bit of clearing house and stuff like that. And in the meantime, he was given the hand that he was dealt with, and he tried to run as best as he could with it. I think he was a manager. For me, he was a manager before his time. I think his ideas and his ideas on football and stuff like that, I think he was ahead of his time. And we just didn't.
He'd have been better off managing now with the style it is now, basically.
He just didn't get the time. He just didn't get the time that was needed. Like most of the managers at our club don't get the time that was needed, and I thought we got rid of him too. I think it was naive, and we got rid of him too quickly. I would have liked to have seen at least another season out of him and see what he could have done.
And he wanted Salah as well. He wanted a Basel Salah because they knocked us out, didn't they? It was around that time when he wanted Salah and they didn't go and get him.
Yeah, but under him, when he managed for us, in the summer that he managed for us, in the transfer window, we got rid of so many players under him. We just needed a clear out. We released and sold loads of players, but yeah, we sold Corker, Dempsey, Huddleston, Parker, Luongo, Bale. Defoe went just after he got sacked. Defoe went, but they got rid of loads of players. Tottenham. They might have brought them 7 in, but they got rid of a load of players as well.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think, like many people have pointed out, yeah, it wasn't a dealt hand. Wasn't dealt a great hand. And I think B rank with Martin Yole sounds about right. To be fair, like you guys said, because it wasn't too good that he over exceeded expectations, but he also got us into a good place. And again, he was like the manager before the manager that then excelled us into somewhere. But before we get on to, I suppose, the manager with some of our best memories, Tim Sherwood, I'll go and say that I actually wasn't. I thought Sherwood had a good time as caretaker at Spurs. I think when you look at caretakers, Sherwood, one of his biggest problems was, I think if some people remember that interview where he called out, was it Sandro? He just said he's just not good enough. He's just not training enough. He's not been good enough in training. And he used to have that relationship where you either liked him as a player or you really didn't like him. But when you talk about what he brought through, he was the man that gave Harry Kane his debut. He insisted that Soldado wouldn't play after having those arguments with Levy and ENIC about game time. He forced Harry Kane through, and I think we obviously saw.
We wanted Harry Kane out. He was the only reason Harry Kane stayed. Tim Sherwood was the only reason Harry Kane stayed here. We were trying to get rid of him, and Tim Sherwood was the one who said, "No, he's still got. There's potential there." And then that's when Kane had his couple of good UEFA games, and we had no striker, and then he played more, and then there was Harry Kane. But Tim Sherwood stopped Levy selling him.
Yeah, because he was the one who played him in the league, innit? Because
that's right. Because
he played him
in the cup.
Played in that Sunderland game, innit?
The UEFA Cup games was Poch. The UEFA Cup game was Poch. Wasn't Sherwood. Sherwood was the one who brought him into the league squad because Soldado just wasn't.
I think he played in the League Cup against like Hull or something like that, and then he played in the the Premier League, and he had 5 goals in like the last couple games at the end of the season or something like that.
Yeah, because I think there was a game against West Brom away. I think he scored in Harry Kane and stuff like that. But yeah, he brought him in. And he told Levy, "No, I'm going to play him." And that's the only reason why he stayed, because he was going to sell him in January. Because he wanted to get. He always said, "I've paid all that money for Soldado. He should be playing." And Sherwood was like, "Who's picking the team, me or you?"
Sherwood was just brutally honest, and probably too honest. Brutally honest. So forget about Conte. What Conte did further down the line, many years later. The first person we saw actually be like that was actually Tim Sherwood. Because Tim Sherwood would call it as it was when he came out of interviews. There was no filter with him at all. He said
what you see was what you.
And he's still like a pundit. He's still like that now as well. He don't hide. He don't favour anybody. He just goes and he goes out.
He does. Don't you think, Jose? He does hate Tottenham a bit though. He's always nasty. Everything he says about Spurs is just negative nowadays. Like he wants.
Tell me something positive to say about Spurs nowadays. Then.
I just mean that like he always. There's always a bit of salt in his mouth whenever he speaks about us.
Yeah, but that's like Hoddle. Whenever everyone's being bitter towards ENIC and had a bitter end, they always chat crap. They always chat against Spurs, and it's got nothing to do with Spurs itself. It's to do with the way they were treated at the club.
I mean, we're meant to be looking at managers now, and they're saying they don't want to come to us because they don't want to be under Levy.
Yeah,
that is probably why a lot of people do speak like that.
Fair.
Sherwood's record wasn't a bad one when you look at it, but he wasn't a B manager, was he? So I'd put him in C. I'd go C.
I think C. Yeah,
but his record, but his record isn't that bad.
It's not good. It's not great though. I think it's 14 wins,
59.1% win percentage. 59.1% win percentage.
It's not bad.
Why was here?
Yeah,
it's not bad.
But the win percentage goes in his favor because there was short amount of games, but the actual record itself was 14, 4, and 10. So it wasn't an amazing record. He did lose a lot of games. It was never really draws, but he did, as stated, it was only for 5 months. It was only till the end of the season. So it was never like there was too much of an expectation of him. It was just get us till the end of the season. And then we all know what happened next. Before we even brought in Pochettino, the name we wanted to bring in was Louis van Gaal. The deal was nearly all done wrapped up, but he ended up going over to Manchester. But Maurizio Pochettino, I think, look, before we even speak about him, if Harry Redknapp's an A, Pochettino's got to go up there. He's an easy A. He's only going to be in an A or an S. But who wants to go first with Pochettino and speak about his time?
He's an A. He's an A. Because
A, bro.
He got us to a Champions League final. He got us to other finals. The only problem is with Poch on the end of the day, he didn't perform on the end of the day. He didn't deliver. He done everything but deliver. And it's all about winning at the end of the day and winning something. He done everything, but he just did not get us that title.
Yeah. Man.
People don't remember second place. People remember winners, not losers.
We do know that Poch, when we talk about managers, that was hard done by under Levy. I think Poch had some backing, but we got those last couple years, although it did go bad, he had a very good squad, and I think we can all agree he probably could have done more with the squad, but he was done harshly, man. That
he had a good 11,
no players.
But his squad, he didn't have the squad for it. But he had a
good
11.
Don't remember our world records, or not world records? Sorry, our club record signing at the time was Sissoko. 30 M's.
Yeah.
and that was a panic buy on deadline day.
Sure it was.
After Newcastle had been relegated, at the Premier League.
The fact that he's got us to finals and Champions League finals, he's got to go an A. But for me, again, personal opinion, at the end of the day, Champions League finals and that is all great, but what did he actually win? Nothing.
He made us serious competitors again, though.
Yes, he did.
Don't you think it's fair to say
he's an A manager?
He made us serious competitors. I think.
But at the same time, he held us back in some aspect. Like the Champions League final, starting Harry Kane, benching Llorente and Lucas Moura, it was criminal. I think sometimes he just changed formation too much.
Son at left wing back
too much.
Son at left wing back, one of the most memorable semi-final.
Yeah, man. Like, what really happened? What really happened?
He had his chances.
A bit.
He had his
semi-final at Wembley against Manchester United, where he dropped Lloris and put Vaughan back in goal after we just smashed Mourinho's Man United a few weeks before. I never forget him for that either. And it was Vaughan's mistake.
He suffered with that gene that Pep has and does have, is where they try to be too innovative at times. So they're trying to be a bit too smart, trying to think ahead of the opposition, make some changes, but sometimes it just goes against you.
I mean,
but tactically, when you talk about him as a coach, do you think he's definitely the best one of the best tactical managers we had? And what coaches, actual,
one of the best. Sure, I don't know about the best.
So for me, obviously, with pre-ENIC, I lived through Birkinshaw's years. So I saw Tottenham through Birkinshaw's years. I then saw us through Venables' years, where I was quite happy with the football we played under Venables. But then my 3-tier for ENIC was Martin Yole started it off for me. Redknapp took on the baton and pushed it even further. And then we stumbled, and I'm not going to hide, we stumbled across Pochettino because he was like third choice. He weren't even second choice. It weren't less Van Gaal. There was someone else in between Pochettino and Van Gaal. We stumbled across him. He's come in his first season. He had to get rid of Dross, stuff that he didn't want, players that he didn't want, and that he had to move them on and then create his own squad. And when he created his own squad, like I was saying earlier, I feared, as a supporter, I feared no one. I felt like I was going into every match and we were going to get the 3 points. Every cup match, I felt we were going to get through to the next round. I had no fear about who we played. So when you danger, for me, it was just all Tottenham.
And Poch could blatantly adapt with what he had as well. There was times he was very, very limited. Like his squad was not big. He had a very good first 11, but his squad was not big. But even at times when we had injury issues and that, he did adapt the team to what it could do. He played with the cards he had. It's just whenever it seemed to come to a final or a semi-final, he folded. He did not perform on the day.
And even to this day, I think he's been folded.
A great manager. Yeah, but he folded on the day. He pulled the bird, he pulled the woman, he took her out for the meal, he took her home, and he didn't perform.
Let's be honest. If it wasn't for Poch, most of us wouldn't be doing YouTube. We wouldn't be invited onto these big 6 shows. We wouldn't be invited onto this.
Oh,
you're right. Spurs relevant.
Yes, he did.
I don't get invited anyway, so that don't matter to me, bro.
Wait. You just do a video about Henry, and we're all good, innit?
Even said I didn't get invited regardless, man.
He was a quality manager, but when it comes down to the crunch, he made some silly decisions.
Yeah, of course. And those are the things that stopped him from stops him getting into the S, as we say, because everyone totally beat him.
He stopped himself from getting into that S tier, didn't it?
Yeah, to an extent, yes. But he done the same at Chelsea in that cup final against Liverpool. He done exactly the same, where Liverpool literally put out their kids, and he still somehow managed to lose that game. And you're like, come on, Poch, come on.
He even lost a few finals at PSG as well. It wasn't a great time. It really wasn't a great time for him. And it seems, and we've just seen this last week, and with USA, he got knocked out by Panama and Canada. Like, the guy is a serial loser. So when people tell me bring him back to Spurs, I laugh in their face. We're over that. We're over him. I always say you never go back to an ex, and that is definitely one you don't. But
don't bet.
Wait, Chelsea went back and won title.
Don't bet on it, mate.
If it's just for fun, hey, I ain't against it. But you can't get back in with you can't go back and commit.
But what about if you realize you made a mistake?
Even if you make a mistake, man, you
gotta hold that L.
You gotta hold that L, man.
Seriously, don't write Poch off here, yeah? Because just quickly, Levy's in trouble because we're doing poor. The Levy haters are now starting to show. A lot of people have now seen Ange for what he really is and gone over to the other side, but there's still a lot of Ange lovers out there. No matter what Levy does, he's in trouble. There's only one card he can actually play, which would silence quite a few people, and that is if he brings Poch back in.
We saw the red roses at the dinner table as well, man.
Don't write Poch off. Don't write it off.
Hey, that is the one card he could pull. Don't put it past it. That photo of Poch and Levy, their club planted that, and they wanted that to come out of that
100%. And you think Daniel Levy paid the bill? He made Poch pay that bill as well.
He didn't put his hand in his pocket. This is Levy.
None of us know that overt. If the club want to keep secrets, they will. But when they want things to come out, they'll drip feed, and that it looks good at the timing.
Don't write Poch off.
Especially in this international break, it gets all the fans, excited and hopeful. But moving on to the special one,
Jose.
I suppose Jose's time. I don't think does anyone feel strongly about Jose's time? Because I think it's neither here or there. It wasn't great. It wasn't absolutely terrible. I think the football wasn't fun to watch, but he did make Harry Kane and Son better players. When we actually attacked at times, and it was only a few moments, but the football did look good. But outside of that, he never had a good team. He never really had a good
COVID part. I think we all forget that part where COVID and up until we had to play Liverpool, where we were top. The football between when we lost to Everton, and we went to Liverpool, and we were smashing United, we smashed Southampton, we beat Man City at home. Those under Mourinho was the most exciting times. But Mourinho does what he does best. When he loses a certain important game, he goes defensive after that. And we did lose a lot of players as well to injury after that as well. So the reason why he went really. But
he was asking for defenders, didn't he? He did want a centre back. He never got that ball in.
And he got to the cup final and he just wasn't given the time. Look, I'm not going to sit there and say we would have won it, but I'm sorry. If Levy ever wants to go and says to all of us that he wants to win trophies, that is the one question you'll always ask yourself is, which other football club have sacked a manager a week before a final? No matter how much, if he was going to win it or not, no matter how crap the football was,
especially Mourinho. Especially Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho
versus
Pep.
Anybody.
Versus Pep.
Yeah.
Versus Pep.
More
you got to keep
so, just in the relevance of this, because I'm trying to look at it and I'm like, where do we put Mourinho? I don't really know.
I put him in C. He's a C. For me, he did not want to be at our club. In all honesty, he didn't want to be at our club. He came to us for the money. He didn't want to be at our club.
It was an opportunity.
And, it was an opportunity, and that was it. And he didn't want to be at our club. He was already on the dwindle, and he has dwindled since. And people say
he wasn't given a team, though. He wasn't given a good enough team. The transfer windows.
But we can say, Marlon, we can say that about every single manager we're going to look at.
Yeah, we do. That's the thing.
Every manager.
He still managed to get to a cup final, which I think a lot. And I know it was during COVID and this and the other, but the football wasn't as bad until that between that Everton and Liverpool game. The Manchester City game where we shithoused it, but the Southampton, Manchester United away, there was other games in between that, but those were the two memorable ones. And we were playing exciting football. Son and Kane were literally running the show. And everyone forgot. Everyone was like, this ain't Mourinho football.
Yeah, we were a two-man team.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like we said, the injuries happened. We lost to Liverpool, and it was just game over. Mourinho was going to do what Mourinho does best.
I must have been watching it with my Spanish-Portuguese bias, because I don't remember getting out of my seat at all. Mourinho was our manager. I do remember getting out of my seat with Yo, Redknapp and Pochettino. I don't recall.
I don't think the football got us out of a seat, but I think it would be fair to say, Jose, that like some of the attacking patterns of play, like when you saw the little build up, the little 2-3-4 into Sonny, into Kane, it was quick, it was fast, the transition was good to watch, and that's when we saw Harry Kane dropping deep, and Sonny being that sort of running behind defender. We remember that game when we slapped Arsenal in COVID, and Sonny was through like. Jose had some good moments, and I do think C's probably about right for him. I do think C's probably about right because the team, it wasn't great. Again, we leaned on Kane and Sonny to get us through a lot, and without those two, whenever we had any of them missing, we were very poor. So I don't know, man. I think Jose. Do we all agree? Probably C's about right for him.
I'm biased. I'd put him in B, but I'm biased, but I don't mind C too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best.
I think this is where you go into Jay's moment. B minus, C plus.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of good memories of Jose, man. Yeah.
I mean, you look at that shocking defense he had as well, same as Conte.
And this is what we're going to get onto. Before we go on to Conte, I think we've got the worst manager, and I have to say, I think he was our worst manager. So, for me anyway. Obviously his record, I remember that very fondly because it was just a few years ago. Even the games we won, we were very, very lucky to win. Those first 10 games of the season were brutal. The Manchester City win, it was nice, but it was just one attack of Sonny. And then some of the other games that we won, again, I think it's fair to say that we never looked good. Can we all unanimously agree that he goes as a D?
Are you talking about Ryan Mason? Because Ryan Mason came in next.
Nuno.
Ryan Mason came in before
Nuno. I was talking about Nuno, but
just put Mason
again. I don't think I don't think Ryan Mason's worth doing this because he's probably going to get a low rank.
My only defense of Nuno, by the way, right, is that summer Kane was doing the transfer way out.
Thank you. He was playing with 10 players.
Nuno had a fully disrupted pre-season, and his best player didn't want to play. And actually missed the City game. And
I agree.
So that's why I want to be a bit fair to him. He was dealt a bad hand.
Well, you have to remember, guys, that the reason they sacked him was because Conte became available, and we wanted Conte in the summer. So would you not have made the same decision again?
No. The reason
I think the United game, he was done.
He was done.
Don't because the thing is that the fans didn't want him. The fans didn't want him. But I was one of these fans. I was happy to give him a chance. Based on his body of work at Wolves, I thought, but
he didn't bring his coaching staff with him, which was the biggest issue. Spurs
and I think he lacked a bit of personality for the club at the time. What they were looking for, and
what's the famous quote he said?
I'll make you proud.
I'll make you proud.
Can I just say, you two boys at the top, right? You're dissing Nuno Espirito Santo. You lot never lived through Christian Gross. So Nuno Espirito Santo is an absolute
but Jose,
compared to
Jose, they're living through Ange, and he's got worse stats than Gross.
I'm saying I'm still a football
So
genius.
where are we going with Nuno?
Nuno, like, I do agree with what Jay says, but you just have to put him in D because he was dealt with bad hand and it just was never going to work out. So, but I do agree with what Jay said. He was playing with 10 men. He didn't have Harry Kane, and he was a solid.
No, he's right.
He's basically what Ange is this season. But Ange is probably doing a lot worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he only got
let's
10
speed run
games.
these, man. We're gonna have to speed run because Jords.
We literally got we've got to go on Spotlight on Spurs in a moment, but we're gonna quickly
Mason C. Let's go through Mason C.
Okay, this is Luke's first stream. He's gonna have to stream on his own, fam. This is
no. We're gonna head straight over there real soon. But I actually need him to pattern up something as well. But so Conte.
C.
Conte.
B.
C for Conte.
B.
I would go B. I'm not gonna lie. I was a fan under Conte. I think Conte's time was good. Sorry, Jay. I think you're mute. Are you muted? You're muted, Jay. Go on. I'm muted.
Jay was giving it as well.
Comfortable B. Comfortable B.
Easy.
Absolutely
easy.
The fact that Jay and Dan are agreeing he's a B. None of us need to say anything.
B. He's a B tier. He is.
Yeah, but they both like Italians.
He got.
I love pizza, fam. You know what I'm saying? Big up the pizza, man. Every time
he got us into fourth place with that dreadful team,
and left us in fourth place.
Yeah, that's what people seem to forget. As much as the football was bad, he did leave us in a good place.
Yeah,
he obviously had the heart problems. He obviously had.
There's a caveat. There was games in hand that other teams had over us that they would have taken. We were fourth, but we wasn't fourth because of the games in hand that happened. However, if we'd have beat Southampton that day, we were in third as well, and that's the bit that everyone forgets.
Yeah.
And you look at that shocking defense
that
he had.
Southampton game was just like where it was that was like his Jose West Ham moment.
God. Yeah.
No, Jose Lanzini moment. It was that moment when he's like, "Fuck these guys." Like, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, so I get it because the Lanzini moment. I remember the Lanzini moment. You know, just remember being like, "That's just silly." Like, and it was like against Zagreb as well.
Oh,
like,
Lanzini moment. No, Zagreb got rid of Jose. That's just silly. Like, what are we? Like, what? And it probably wasn't even a penalty.
That Lanzini moment made We Are Tottenham TV, by the way. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, they weren't as famous.
That was a horrible moment for all Spurs fans. That was a nightmare.
I didn't enjoy the football under Conte, but that's just
I did. I couldn't. Because the thing is like, to be fair, just be fair quickly. Because the thing is that if you look object, there's loads of games. Like, we played trash loads of times under Ange. Like, we played trash under Nuno. We played trash under Mourinho. Last season of Poch, we played trash a lot of times. So it's kind of like, when someone says, I don't like the football under Conte, I'm like, if you look at it in the context of everything that was around it, it's arguably still up there with like the most consistent, decent football we played for a while. And the highs of Ange might be higher, and other man. But in terms of like consistently solid to good, competing at the top end of the league, he's the best we've had for the last 5 years. Look at it this way.
Look at that defense he had, yeah? If Ange would have had that defense, we would be in a relegation battle, which we weren't far from if there weren't three
I'll tell you this now.
The defense he had was awful.
But I tell you this now. If I went and said to Jose, if you go and look up the last 2 seasons of Ange and the seasons under Conte, I bet you'll find more games where you enjoyed watching Conte's games that we won than you have Ange. But because of that mindset of he was defensive, mate. You forget about the Manchester City away. You forget about
Liverpool 1-1. Yeah,
1-1.
Because when we went to Liverpool and 1-1, and we needed to get a result to finish it with Arsenal,
we were brilliant.
I enjoyed it because I'm like, we're going to a team that wants to win the title. Yeah, and we went there and we got a result.
We should have won it.
I like that game. Like, I'm not going to say it's the most aesthetic game, but let's not pretend like Doherty wasn't cooking. Like, Conte didn't have Doherty cooking.
I can't lie. I love the fact that after games, you could do this. You could be like, yeah, we were shit. but we beat you, and we beat you by 2 or 3 goals. I used to love that because we used to shithouse so many wins under Conte, and again, similar to Mourinho, when we did play attacking football,
people don't remember the way.
But I like
the results.
counter-attack. I love Italian football. I prefer it over Premier League all day long. It's not so robotic.
Don't forget
a defense being able to sit back and then fast, direct counter-attacking. That's how I like my football.
There was a poll on Twitter, right? There was a poll on Twitter. This was like a couple months ago. I think it was December. Would you rather have... This was after the Liverpool game when we lost 6-3. They're like, would you rather have the 6-3 loss under Ange or a 1-0 win under Conte? And more people said they'd want a 6-3 loss under Ange. At that point, I locked off Twitter. YouTube didn't see me for a good couple of days, and I was like, this fan base is screwed.
You're right.
Fam.
I forgot. Our manager doesn't mind about conceding. Our manager don't care about
I was like, yo,
goals. It's about entertainment, isn't it?
Care less, bro. I was like, bro, this fan base is gone, fam. You would take a 6-3 loss over a win? Crazy.
Come on, let's get onto him. Go on, Jords. Go on. Last man. Talk
about him. Look, we're here now. Ange Postecoglou, the last man. We got 5 minutes before we finish up. Look,
put him in the D tier, please. Put him in the D tier with the swift man.
Come on, he ain't sitting with Conte.
Up until now, he has a 5th place. Listen, he's got a 5th place position. He's no lower than C. Like, so that easy anyway. Yeah, but so I'm just saying, up until now, he has a 5th place position, cup semi-final, still in the Europa League. So as of now, he's probably a C. Yeah.
No.
But
never.
But taking into account how much potentially we've been carried by Kane. Yeah. Last season was very good.
He never had Kane.
Right. So
Kane was never part of his team, so he wasn't missing Kane.
That makes so we as a football club haven't missed out on one of the world's.
But the manager knew. Okay, he asked for Brennan Johnson.
That's not. Listen. I'm not talking about.
He never had Kane, so he didn't have to adapt his team without Kane.
Obviously, as a football club, we miss Harry Kane. Do we not? Like, I don't understand it.
And Barcelona miss Messi.
They do. You're right.
Obviously,
yeah. But
obviously,
Ange never had to arrange his team.
Now they are
without Harry Kane. All of a sudden, he never had Harry Kane. I mean, look.
I'm not saying
okay, Jay.
I'm saying obviously.
Let me just put these points to you, then, Jay. Jay, okay. Let me put these points. We would have been better with Kane, of course, but he never had to work it out. Where all of a sudden he lost Kane because he never had him. Look.
Yeah,
here go the stats. Okay, right, but here's the thing.
Else had Kane.
Jay. Most home games conceded first in a calendar year, 2024. We went 1-0 down in 15 home games during the 2024. Worst ever by a Premier League team in a single year. Worst home win rate since 2008, 24. We went 5 straight game matches without a win in the Premier League. Our longest winless home one since 2008. Right, shots faced in a calendar year, only 2025, by the way. In the first 11 games of 2025, we faced more than 167 shots on targets. Not even the shots against us, like wider than that, yeah? More than an average of 15 to 20 a game. This is more than 40 shots higher than any other Premier League club in all competitions ever. On course to our highest number of losses in a single Premier League season with currently 15, 19 being our worst. Most goals conceded in a calendar year, yet this defence we've got is so great, so people speak. Longest run of consecutive Premier League defeats in 16 years. We've had. Right, the list goes on. More goals conceded in all competitions in this season. We have conceded 57 across 39, averaging 1.5 goals a game, a figure worse than all but Leicester and Southampton. 3 North London derby defeats. That is our worst. Our worst points tally since 2009.
Okay. So
come on, I've got more.
What's that? Hold on.
Nah, you want to put this man a B or C?
Let me ask
Game over, Jay.
Let me ask you this question.
Can we just?
No. Guys. Let me land this.
This is a separate show,
right? I want to hear this.
Spurs keep Stevie Tuesday.
Yeah, man.
Hold on, Dan.
This guy's
I want to let Jay go on. Jay, you land.
Right, cool. Like, that's fine. Okay, cool. Dan, how long?
Take us all off screen.
No, hold on. I just want to hear the answers. How long was Andre Villas-Boas in charge of Tottenham?
Hey?
How long was Villas-Boas our manager?
He must have been. I don't know exactly on the amount of months, to tell the truth.
Just tell me.
I'd have to check that on the amount of months. I don't know the exact amount of months.
How long do you think?
I don't know exactly.
Exactly, but how long would you think?
I'd have to check it up. I don't know the exact time he was with us. I think he was with us, what, a season and a half, 18 months?
Perfect. Okay, so we've got Villas-Boas in fifth, as a B, for finishing fifth and getting sacked halfway through his second season. Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to say Ange is totally helpless for finishing fifth.
He finished fifth. I'll give him that.
You can make the argument he could and should be sacked. Not going to disagree with you.
I know where we're going.
I'm going to say to you, like, how different is Ange and AVB when you really analyze it?
Okay. Really analyze everything I just said to you then. I'll bring up some more stats for you now. Here we go. Right. Yeah. Just look. He's broken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 records. 6 records this man has broken on the negative side for Spurs, yeah?
Yeah.
If you add them up together, the amount of crap that Ange has pulled into us has been shocking. We have gone downhill and further downhill. With what happened with Boas, he did not have the results that Ange has had and how bad Ange has done it. He did not concede over.
And I don't think Ange was as good as AVB, but I'm asking you, let me ask you this question, right? All things considered, yeah? Like, and I know you might think that Ange causes the injuries and etc. I'm to be fair, I don't think he's blameless in that regard. But let's say, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt, and let's say that Ange doesn't cause the injuries, right? So
that'd be not true.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to give him the benefit of that. I'm not a sports scientist.
Not really.
Okay,
not really.
Cool.
It's obvious.
So I'm gonna ask you this question. In terms of other managers, how many more points do you think we would have with another manager if he had the same players as Ange for the period that we've had injuries?
Okay.
How many more points do you think we would have?
10. Easy. If we had a manager that could just adapt, stop using
10
this
more points.
Easy. Stop using this dickhead inverted wingback tactic where we get cooked on our right hand side every game without fail. Same as last season.
Remember the trade-off.
Stop pushing us up so high and everything and that. Yeah. The only times, Jay, we have looked good. When have we looked good, Jay?
But I'm trying to say,
I know, guys. We generally
trade-off. Because the thing is we beat Villa away. We beat Villa. We beat City.
When we didn't use inverted wingbacks.
Home and away.
When we didn't use inverted wingbacks.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I think personally, I'm the best person to ask about this stuff because I'm the best guy on the panel. And sorry to all you, man.
Since when?
In terms of,
I mean, if we're going to be pathological liars, we might as well just.
I was about to say put him in C tier, but we could put him in D tier, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Hey, if you want. But I'll say, based on the way we rated the rest of the managers, you got to put him in C tier, innit? It's one of them ones. So, if I was ranking it personally, I'd put him in D tier because
he's won 20 games this season, man. Allow him. He's won 20 games this season.
A man who says he'd rather his players get injured. A man who said he'd rather his players get injured than change up his tactics. I can't rate a manager like that. I'm sorry.
He can't play with the cards he's got. He's already proved it. He can't do it.
But he goes into S if he wins the Europa League, yeah.
If he wins any cup, he's in the S tier.
He gets a statue. He's done the job. If he wins that Europa League, for me, just out of fairness, if he wins that Europa League, he has to stay.
Yeah,
he's done his job.
He wins that Europa, automatic S tier, man. 100%.
Yeah.
So, because for me, let's just go on his current ranking of where he's at right now Are we
based on the list you put
C or a D?
C.
C tier.
D.
Yeah.
Based on how we did the rest of the list, it has to be.
Dan, you can't put him in D because he did finish 5th last year and he has won 21 games or 20 games. I'm not counting Tamworth. He's won 20 games this year. No matter how we want to look at it, he still has won 20 games. You can't.
He's had 27. He's had 27 defeats in what 57 or is it 29 defeats he's had now?
Yeah? I'm not denying that. But we can't put him in D because of.
Based on how we ranked it, we can't.
105 goals he's let us concede.
Yeah, but there was another manager that we put in C tier because he made a final. Like I can't lie, he made a semi-final and was better in the league. So
if you look on league positions, chaps, the people in B finished 5th, and 4th. He finished 5th. If you're looking at the B tier, the people in the C tier, the people in C tier didn't get anywhere near 4th or 5th. Just saying.
And
to maintain that consistency, I don't think he would be in a D tier because Nuno and all these other managers.
Look at guys in D. Realistically, he's done better than everyone in D.
Yeah, but if you look on where he's still at the moment, and if he stays till the end of the season, does anyone think we're going to finish higher than 12th or 13th?
If I
was making the list, I would put him in D tier. That's what I'm saying. But because of the way we ranked everyone on the list, he deserves to be in C tier. But if I'm making a personal list, I would put him in D tier. But like, look at where we've ranked.
Place. He got a 5th place, fair enough. But
so he's done what he's done what Village
just on
and
the places
and the money he's had.
Do we think? Are we all in agreement? The managers above him are rightly so above him. You know, the Yos, the AVBs, Conte, Poch. Harry. Yeah. I'm still. I don't like Juande being at the top, but he did win the trophy. So if he's going to be at the top,
he is at the top.
Against it. Yeah.
Hey, I'm telling you, can't wanted him in the and then criticize the other girl who didn't want to smash, bro. Hey, take the girl that wanted.
Here's a point from Eugene, just really quickly before we head up. I want Ange out like everyone, but saying that he never had Kane, but then comparing him to managers who were carried by prime Son and Kane is disingenuous. That's a fair point.
My quick answer to that is this defense he had is a lot better than what Conte had, and they could.
Yeah, but no. Yeah. But Dad, let me ask a quick question on that because everyone likes to use that, and I think that's really unfair. Because if I said to you, he might have a better defense, but are they on the level of Kane? You're going to sit there and go no. So that's because no, they're not because Harry Kane is a world class. Everyone tells me Harry Kane's a world class player. If he's a world class player and he's up top, he's going to carry you. Right, but if you look at our defense is not nowhere near Harry Kane's level.
Yeah, but Marlon,
defense. No, you can't
say
that.
Harry Kane wins you games. Defense wins you leagues.
Yeah, but then our defense is not a world-class defense.
Okay, so
but it is 10 times better, Marlon, than what Conte had.
No,
you know what it does seem like.
It's not about that. Porro, Udogie,
are you putting Van der Ven on the same level as Sanchez?
Yeah, guys. I know where this conversation is gonna go.
So you gotta have like a dedicated.
Are you putting Romero and Van der Ven on the same level as Harry Kane? Are you putting Van der Ven and Romero on the same level as Harry Kane?
You can't compare them. That's a defense.
No. But you just said I'm comparing it to Sanchez. That's not true because if you're putting it that way, I'm going to give it to you that way.
No. If I go by strikers, he wins. Yeah. Harry Kane.
Yeah, but the difference between between a world-class striker and an average and an okay defense. I'm sorry, you can't compare the two because a world-class striker,
one's a striker and one's a defender.
But Harry Kane's a world-class player who literally was carrying other managers. You can't sit there and say that Van der Ven and Romero and Porro and Udogie.
But if our defense is that much better, yes.
Wait, guys. I love the enthusiasm. I really do.
Come on.
I knew when we got
like 30 minutes late,
it was going to be hard. It was going to be hard to reel it in. I knew it was going to be.
But you're sitting there saying Van der Ven and Romero world class. You're sitting there saying Van der Ven and Romero world class.
No, I'm saying they're a lot better. I'm saying they're a lot better than Longley, Sanchez, and then who else? Royale. Come on.
But Harry Kane and Son were carrying the other managers.
Guys, look. Ange.
That's the difference.
Look at the defense.
If we no, wait, Dan. If we want to do another stream about,
I'm not even Ange.
I'm sure we do. We've all actually spoken on many streams together about how we feel about Ange. I thought it was a nice break for a few weeks. I'm not gonna lie. I had a nice break for a few weeks, not discussing Ange in or Ange out. But I know, again, we're back next week, so people are getting right into the rhythm, thinking about managers and like, got Ange back, so the passion back towards the manager is coming out in full force, and it's understandable. But look, chat, let us know what you guys think of our tier list. I suppose all the rivals in there are just gonna laugh because there isn't many managers of top class, especially in our S and A tiers. You're looking at it like, what have they won? What have they won? That's what we.
S tier's won something. Yeah. S tier's won something.
Let us know if you guys think we've got a good ranking here as to what these managers were. If there's any that you think should go up, if there's anything you guys think should go down, please do let us know. Once again, have to shout out to DB1981 for the super chat. Big up for the support. It's much, much appreciated. But I cannot stress enough, everyone's channels is in the description of the video. If you want to show some love to Jose, it's at Eltel Cockerell. Have you got any videos coming up, Jose? Any lives?
I've got my prediction show tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Well, guys, keep a lookout for his prediction. What time is that?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock tomorrow. Jose's prediction show. I take that's all the FA Cup predictions, and I see you do the FPL.
No, I go around the world. I don't pick the ones that you think that I'm going to pick. I'll go around the world and pick them.
Sounds good. Well, you guys make sure you tune into that. Spurs Kings, Marlon. When are you guys next running up a video?
So there's a video dropping. There is a video dropping tomorrow, which is the second part of the Ange. So make sure you watch it because Elijah was in the first. So was Dan.
I'm making an appearance in the second.
Yeah, maybe. So does the guy below us as well. So everyone's making an appearance. So make sure 12 o'clock that's dropping tomorrow. So you got all weekend.
And then Dan, Hotspur Hood, what you got coming up? Have you got any lives planned?
Yeah, there'll be some coming up. There'll be 2 coming up during the week that I've got sorted out, and then for next week, got a few more coming in. So I just come and go. I just do them as they happen, sort of thing.
Yeah,
he's got 4 hours spare.
I don't really have routine.
No, it's understandable. I think the chat knows I'm the worst one for it. I just say I'm going live, and I'm alive in an hour.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, guys, make sure you tap the post notification bell on all of our channels to make sure you see when we're going live. That's the most.
It's about being a man of the moment, isn't it?
That exactly that. And last but definitely not least, what have you got dropping? And when's your next live?
I can't lie, I was supposed to drop an SNN today, and then updates happened in which now I have to re-record. So yeah, that's not fun, innit? So I have an SNN probably dropping either tomorrow or Saturday, and then the chill streams will be coming back because I can't lie, I need to keep the stream run going. Ever since international break, I've noticed bare people aren't streaming, so this is the best time for me to stream. So I'm gonna get my watch hours in, I'm gonna get my runs in there, you know what I'm saying, while everyone else is taking a break. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned, guys.
Well, that'll be good to see, man. Make sure you guys are helping E get up to that 1K. He is real close. So let's show some support, as well as Jose. He again, another one that's real close. So show some support, guys. Show some support. Let's help everyone grow their channels. And yeah, man, big up to everyone that has tuned in, because I was going to send you guys over to Spotlight on Spurs, but there has been some technical issues on their side, just not able to send you guys over to them. So instead of them, I'm going to send you guys over to Fam Zone TV. The guys over there doing a call-in show. So if there's anyone that wants to get involved, you guys, they're doing a call-in show. So go in, call over to Dean and D. Make sure you drop a DRD raid in their chat to let them know where you've come from. And yeah, man, big up to everyone that's been tuned in for this stream. It has been a banger one. It's been good. and it's very clear to see we need to get some of this panel back for Boardroom Talks, because there's some strong feelings about Ange, and I think it'll be a fun one. So keep an eye out for Boardroom Talks. And yeah, I'm going to be going over Spotlight on Spurs, so show some love. Me and Marlon are going to be over there. Make sure you head over there with us as well too, man. Big up to everyone.
Thank you.